Anywhere you go, you belong. Anywhere you say, anywhere.
Okay, what are you saying, people, and welcome back to another live stream. Now, before we jump into this, make sure you join me on my Telegram channel, left link to that in the live chat and also the description below. But same as usual, guys, going to walk you through the charts, see if you've got any opportunities coming our way, and yeah, we'll get involved in any opportunities that we can find. But welcome to the live stream, everyone. I hope you're having a good day, good week. Hey, how are you doing? Yeah, we'll just get into it again. As always, guys, make sure you leave a comment for any pairs that you're looking at, any pairs you've got on your watch list, or if you know any trades as well. Feel free to leave a comment in the chat, and I'll take a look at it for you. If you're looking at Eur Usd, Aud Usd, feel free to let me know, and we'll take a look at those pairs. But to start with, we're going to take a look at Eur Usd. So for this pair, we've seen some upside on Monday. As you can see here, some nice bullish momentum to the upside there. Starting to find some resistance, as you can see. If I just draw this level across, price is reacting to this level here nicely. For me, on my weekly analysis video, if you haven't checked that out, I did say Eur Usd could be seeing some upside back into this level here. As you can see, excuse me, as you can see, very strong support now will be turned strong resistance, and you can see we have this nature of push, pullback, push. I think this is a pullback for another push to the downside. Now, I'm not expecting Eur Usd to do any crazy moves lately, but I do think we'll see some downside. Hey, welcome to the channel. Thank you for subscribing, much appreciated that. And again, guys, if you're looking at any pairs, just feel free to let me know, put it in the chat, and I will take a look at those pairs for you. Good morning, how are you? Welcome to the stream. Hope you are doing well. Let me know what pairs you guys are looking at. So far, Eur Usd is looking a little bit interesting this morning. Hasn't quite hit the area that I was looking for price to hit, which kind of is 1.17600 area here. So we kind of pushed a few pips underneath it. Essentially, we could say, yeah, it's come to that area because it doesn't always, happen to the pip. But yeah, it's just missed out that area. But I do think for Eur Usd, if it doesn't see a little bit more upside first, I think we'll probably see a move to the downside. You can see the structure of the market, nice push, pullback, and I think another dump to the downside. So that's what I'm looking for Eur Usd. I'm not going to take the trade just yet, because I said, yeah, I want to see price tap into that area. So, if it can do that, it would be great. It is looking a little bit bearish here first. Maybe if it can come up, double top around here, that would be nice, back into this resistance there, and then sell off. That would be great. Or like I said, tap into that area, then sell off. So that's what I'll probably be looking for Eur Usd. But my bias is to the downside, only looking for sells for Eur Usd this week. Actually, only looking for sells as long as we stay below this. Maybe I might look for buys if you start breaking through that level, but for now I do have a bearish bias on Eur USD and looking for a move back down into these lows over there, so the prior weekly lows. Good morning, guys, hope you are doing well. Hello. Hey William, hope you are doing well. Yeah, pound JPY, we'll take a look at that. Yeah, so pound JPY, I mean, like pretty much all the JPY pairs and USD pairs, we did see some upside for these pairs pretty much throughout Monday. Again, just taking it as a retracement. William, are you still in your pound JPY shorts? Oh, are you still in your pound JPY shorts? Because it's still looking good. But yeah, for pound JPY, I'm still bearish on this pair. We've had a colossal move to the downside here over the past few days, and I think we're just getting some retrace. We do have this area here. Simple support is term resistance that we've kind of just whipped into this morning here. So the price is pushing into that daily support resistance now, and we've seen a nice bearish reaction there. So I will be looking for sells for pound JPY. A nice push to the downside there, and I think we could be getting a little bit of a head and shoulders potentially for this pair. But just take this across, you can see we've had a nice shoulder there, head. Real momentum to the upside, real momentum back down, bit of a false breakout. So if we can come, form a lower high, something like that, I think pound JPY should be good for some sells back down to these lows all the way down there. But do be aware, because it might still push up and push into this area here and give us kind of just 1, 2, 3 and then collapse. So kind of two opportunities there. If you can form a lower high, that'd be great, just head and shoulders. But we could still push to the upside back into that level again and kind of just connect it with a trend line like that and then fall. So that could also happen there for pound JPY. But yeah, like I said, as long as we stay below this daily resistance and level, I will be looking for those shorts for pound JPY. Seen some conviction to the downside, which is great. But yeah, probably a little pullback. Maybe you can even enter in the 15-minute charts. But yeah, it looks good for more downside for Eur USD. As you can see, that was a previous lower high there before the dump, so maybe we get another lower high here before another dump to the downside. So I'm seeing more downside for pound JPY there. Oh no, what happened there? Emotions got the better of you. I mean, it does happen. It does happen, but that's unfortunate. What, you got short on CAD JPY 86092. Where's that? 86092. So yeah, it's about there. Yeah, it's a sticky one because price is looking quite bullish here for CAD JPY. I mean, it's come back into an area of resistance here. This is the prior kind of last lower high of the 4-hour chart. Dump, lower high, another dump. Now we're back into that area, so we might be seeing some downside. If we do start breaking through this, then yeah, it might be CAD JPY wants to put. I mean, for me, I'm biased to the downside. I'm biased to the downside for CAD JPY, so I can still see CAD JPY fall into the downside. It might spike through this, grab some liquidity, because this is a big sell-off, a lot of liquidity just above that high there, so we might push to the upside, grab that liquidity, then fall. So I can still see that happening there for CAD JPY. But yeah, I'm only looking for sales for this pair, so I have the same bias as you. It's just that, yeah, the emotions got the better view for that one. So I mean, the best thing to do is just learn from this. Just learn from this, because it can happen, but that's the hard bit about trading. Not so much getting involved and picking the right trade. It's just managing your emotions, staying disciplined, and just following your plan. So take that as a lesson. But like I said, I can still see it coming down, but at the end of the day, I have no idea what the market wants to do. I've got my bias to the downside, but if it wants to push on, it could push on. Like I said, it might just manipulate that high, because it hasn't done that yet. It might manipulate that high, then come down, and then you can probably close the trade at probably less damage than it is. But you know, CAD JPY might want to dart to the upside. So yeah, it's a hard one there. Okay, fair play, William, if you're not trading this week. I mean, it takes a lot of discipline to do that, because sometimes I'm like, yeah, I'm not trading today, then I actually trade today. So you can do that for a whole week. Fair play. It shows good discipline. Also, a lot of self-trust as well. But appreciate that. Leaving the like entertain. Definitely a big support on this channel. Euro pound, yeah, sure thing. Euro pound. Yeah, so Euro pound biases to the upside for this week. We've broken out through this trend line here on the daily, so really nice trend line there. We've broken it previously here, but it turned out to be a false break. I'm expecting this to be a true break and see some upside here. So I'm waiting for price to retrace, form a higher low essentially, and then yeah, look for more upside. So we do have this trend line here as well. Price could come back to. Right now, market is still quite bearish here. We did see a nice spike to the upside there. Wow, nice spike there. That last hour at 9 AM. So yeah, we're respecting that resistance. That price action does normally mean, with that, you know, exaggerated spike to the upside, that normally does mean that we're going to take another dive to the downside now. So I'm probably anticipate price back at these lows here for Euro GBP, then back at these lows here. But like I said, on the higher time frames, I can still see more upside. So I think we're just selling off just to get, you know, a retest of support, or initiate more orders for a bigger move to the upside. So I'm getting ready for the buys for Euro pound, but right now, you know, it's looking very, very bearish, especially with that massive wick to the upside. All those people's stop losses above here, they got taken out, and now we're seeing the follow through to the downside. So yeah, I'm probably going to expect to see a push back into these lows here, potentially that support there, so you know, resistance turn support, maybe even a retest of the trend line as well. But from there, then I'll look for some buys. But it's looking quite bearish so far for Euro pound, so probably expect a little bit more downside. Like I said, maybe back into the trend line, maybe back into this area here, and then from here I think some more upside back into these highs, maybe even a lot further as well. So that's what I'm looking at for Euro pound this week. Hope that analysis helped. Euro USD, yeah, I'll go back to that one. Yeah, so Euro USD, again, I'm looking for sales for Euro USD. I've got that bearish bias for this pair. It's been falling to the downside quite some time. Was looking for buys last week, but as you can see, a big move to the downside there. So I'm looking for sells this week for Euro USD. Again, I've highlighted this key area here, price support here. You know, did give us this big move to the upside. A lot of rejections in that same area. Now will be turn resistance. So I'm looking for price to move up into this level here, and if it can do that, that'll be great, because that's what I'm looking to get involved in some sells. You can see here it's looking a little bit bearish there. It's looking a little bit bearish there with this push, pullback, push. But yeah, for me, it hasn't quite hit my area of interest, so I'm not getting involved just yet. I did say before, if you can come up, form a double top here, nice wick rejections, and then I'll look for some sells to take it back down again. But if it does break through this level here, then I'll look for a push into that 1.17600 level, support, turn resistance, and then I'll look to sell it back down. But the next big move for me is the downside for Euro USD, and yeah, only looking for sales for this pair. If it does break through this level, then I think buys will be coming on, because all that momentum, you know, retrace, and then we take the pullback. But for here, it's looking like Euro USD is having another pullback like it did over here. Dump, expect another pullback, another dump. So yeah, looking at this level here, 1.17600 for sales for Euro USD, but you know, we'll see how that gets on. You know, that might not happen till tomorrow potentially as well. So yeah, I want to see some upside, and then I'll look to take it back down from there on. I think the same thing for pound USD as well. We've seen some nice retracement to the upside, but I'm looking for some downside here for pound USD. You can see we had a massive sell-off over the past few days or so. And now we're coming back into this area here. So on my weekly analysis, this is the area I said that if price comes to, we'll be looking to short Eur Usd. If I go in the 4H, you can see already had a nice reaction from that area. So I am looking for shorts for Eur Usd. And price action is looking not bad. We've had this high here. Price was stalling a little bit over the Asian session whilst I was asleep, and then this morning nice spike to the upside and a nice dump to the downside. So we've taken out some stops there. So now I'm just waiting for that lower high for pound USD. If you can pull back lower high again, something like that, forming a head and shoulders there, and then I think we can see some downside from there. But like I said, it could still, because this is still a bullish market, it can still push on. Because look, if I just highlight that area quickly, this here is our last high low of the market, and we're still respecting that. So with that still respecting, you know, pound USD can still push on and just climb if it wants to. And if that's the case, obviously I don't want to be in some sales if price is trying to do that. So I'll be watching closely for pound USD, you know, monitoring the price action, making sure that I get some confirmed price action before I do enter. Again, nothing's 100%, but I want to make it the best opportunity possible for me to take a trade. So if you do have a pullback from a lower high and then start pushing to the downside, I'll look to get involved. And again, targets will be back at these lows here, and then potentially, if I just zoom out a little bit into the 4H, we'll be at this wick down there as well. So yeah, I can see more downside for pound USD. It's rejecting that key level that I was looking at. You can see support, 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 now term resistance. So just simple break and retest, and looking for another dump into these lows here. So that's what I'll be looking out for pound USD. And like I said, similar for Eur USD, except Eur USD hasn't quite hit the level I was looking at this week. I mean, it can still push up into that level. It can still push up into that level, but pound USD has hit that level. Eur USD hasn't. So that's why I'm focusing a little bit more on pound. But yeah, we'll see what happens with this price action, because like I said, it's still technically bullish and it can still push on if it wanted to. So don't want to get involved if price does that. Gold, we saw a break to the upside. I wasn't expecting that from gold, but we are looking very bullish here. Again, we did see some weakness in the US dollar, so DXY comes down, gold moves up. They're inversely correlated. Now we're looking quite bullish here for gold actually. Again, like I did say, put about a couple weeks ago, 3 weeks ago now, I still do expect to see a long-term push to the upside for gold. I can see gold pushing back to these highs here, and probably sooner than you think, because if we do see the DXY start to turn bearish quite quickly, I think gold will just find its momentum and just keep, you know, pumping to the upside, something like it did over here as well. So long-term investment, gold looks good over the next few weeks, months as well. But for me, you know, looking to trade it, I wouldn't touch it right now. I'm probably more inclined to look for buys than sells. For me right now, it's coming into a key area of supply. So again, as you can see, consolidation, big break to the downside, massive drop that we had a couple of weeks ago now. So I'm expecting price to come into here, have some reaction, sell off a little bit, form another higher low, and then drive to the upside again. I think that opportunity could be nice there for gold. But we've broken out of this consolidation, so price is still looking quite bullish now. Want that retrace and then look for the continuation. You can look for sells on gold, but just for me, yeah, I'm not going to look for sells, because it's just a little bit too bullish to look for sells in my opinion. And I think the buys are the better trade anyway, to look to hold on to that trade a little bit longer as well. So yeah, that's why I'll be looking for gold. But I think some short-term downside could be coming up, and then we'll be looking for buys after that. USD/JPY, looking for selling opportunities for this one. I can see some nice downside coming up for this pair. I think I'll probably be looking to enter this trade actually if we get a nice bearish closure like that. For USD/JPY, I will be looking to get short in this pair. Nice resistance there, also nice break and retest of this trend line here. So, you know, test, break, retest, and now we're seeing the momentum here. So I'll probably look to enter on the closure of that candle if we can close something like that, and I will be looking to target for USD/JPY these lows all the way down there. Again, I do have some targets before that, support here and support there, but I will be looking to take some shorts here for USD/JPY, because again, like I did say in my weekly analysis, it's either price has a pullback into here this resistance, which it almost kind of did there, or we just see it dump to the downside pretty much as the market opens. And as you can see, we did see that move to the upside, so we didn't see the dump, we saw a move to the upside, almost test the area, strong bearish reaction, pullback, looking to get involved in that move, nice wick to the upside in that previous 4H candle, and a move back down to these lows here. So USD/JPY for me looks like a good trade coming up. We'll look to get an entry on this one. Again, from a daily point of view, it's also looking good as well. Price respecting that resistance, a nice false break there with the wick, grabbing liquidity above that high. All that momentum, treating all that price action as retracement. If I should clear that, treating all this as retracement. A few wicks to the upside, looking for a dump back into these lows there. So yeah, USD/JPY does look good, and if USD/JPY does fall, we could be seeing USD/CHF fall with it. I think USD/CHF is already looking bearish anyway, to be fair. You can see there the momentum coming to the downside from yesterday. If we go on the daily, again looking a little bit bearish as well. So yeah, I'm looking for those sells on USD/JPY. USD/CHF doesn't look as good, and also already kind of has fallen to the downside already a little bit. So yeah, not looking to get involved there. But if you can see a bearish closure like we are seeing now potentially on the hourly, something like that, if it doesn't pull back up like the previous candle, then yeah, I will look to get involved in some sells and take it back down to these lows for USD/JPY. So I think that's the main pair I'll be focusing on. Like I said, pound USD as well I'll be looking at, but it's still technically bullish for me, so I need a little bit more from pound USD to get interested in it. But then yeah, USD/JPY does look good. Yeah, sure, I'll take a look at Euro USD. Yeah, Eur Usd, like I said, I've got this key level that I'm looking at here on the 4H, so support there. This held support really nicely a few weeks back now. A nice move up, we've broken through, and I think now we're going to come back for that retest, because you can see the price action here, dump, pullback, dump, looking for that pullback, and looking for that third dump to the downside back into these lows here. So USD/JPY is looking, USD/JPY, Euro USD is looking good for some shorts. Except it just hasn't, just missed that level by a few pips there. So for me, I'll probably wait for it to see if we can have a drive to the upside back into that level there, or if you can respect this resistance here, come up, form a double top, and then come back down again. That will be a good place to enter. But like I said, it just hasn't hit that area yet. So I'd want to see price push up, hit that area, then I look to get some sells for Euro USD. So just one more push and then the sell, and then yeah, I'll look to set it back down into these lows there. So I do have that bearish bias. If you start breaking through that level, I'm not too sure for USD/JPY. I keep saying USD/JPY. I'm not too sure for Euro USD, because we could actually be heading a lot higher, maybe back into this resistance here, or maybe even further than that. So yeah, Euro USD for me, look what happens at this level here. It's just slightly above where price is now. If we start rejecting it like we did earlier on, then yeah, sells do look good, and the risk to reward looks good as well, back down to this area here for Euro USD. But if we start breaking through it, I'll probably get ready for the buys and take that higher to the upside there. So that's what I'm looking at for Euro USD. But yeah, the pair I'm focusing on is USD/JPY. I think a lot of the JPY pairs have seen some upside yesterday. CAD JPY, CHF JPY, Euro JPY not as much, Pound JPY, yeah, not as much as well. But yeah, we have seen some upside. And again, I did tell you guys that, because we had that massive move to the downside last week, we pretty much saw all these JPY pairs collapse to the downside. We have to see some upside eventually, and when it does come, it's going to come quite aggressively, because normally when you do see aggressive dumps, you normally do see aggressive pullbacks as well. So you can see here previously, aggressive dump to the downside, aggressive pullback, aggressive dump, aggressive pullback, aggressive dump, aggressive pullback, aggressive dump, aggressive pullback. So that's a common theme in a lot of these pairs that we've seen in Forex and other financial markets as well, that normally when you do see aggressive dump or aggressive pump to the upside, the pullbacks are aggressive as well. So again, it does mean that it's a good opportunity to look for buys as well, but it also does mean that when we're looking for that retrace, retrace could potentially go on a lot higher first before it does turn bearish again. Because if I get a fib on this move here, you can see 50% is there, it hasn't even reached 50% yet. So pound JPY could still see more upside if it wanted to. and it does mean that potentially we might be seeing the opportunity come later in the week. So I'm not saying we can't see any downside now for these pairs, but it probably will be just short term. We might see something like this, some downside, and then push back up again. So do watch out for that, because that is definitely on the cards. But yeah, like I said, if you do get a lower high, something like that, head and shoulders, it does look good to short pound JPY. Then if you can take partials, great. Probably look to aim at this level here. Then if you can break through that, probably these lows there. But just watch out for that, because we might still see these pairs pump to the upside. Still respecting, you know, this area of support here, and if that does stay intact, you know, we could move to the upside a lot faster with more momentum. So do watch out for that. If you take a look at some of the other USD pairs, Aud USD, get another pair, big move to the upside. Again, this pair collapsed the downside last week. You can see we've had all this consolidation, and finally the market relieved itself to the downside there, and all that momentum just poured out, and now we're seeing an aggressive pullback to the upside. So potentially we could even see Aud USD, you know, pump all the way to the upside here this week, just to react with that level again, just support and resistance, and then come down again. So the most important thing for me about technical analysis is just monitoring candlesticks and the price action and higher highs and higher lows, the structure of the market, because for me that's like the main core of my trading, and it tells me if I should be looking for buys or if I should be looking for sales. So if I go on the hourly chart here, you can still see we're pumping to the upside, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, potentially a higher low. So it tells us that the market is still bullish. There's no reason to look to sell this market here. A big rule of thumb in my trading is if the market is showing bearish structure, I can sell. If it's showing bullish structure, I can buy. So if I want to sell AUD USD, I have to wait for some lower lows and some lower highs, and if I want to buy it, I can look to buy it. But again, that's need a bit more retracement than that. But that's essentially the core of what I look to trade, and for this one it's still very bullish. So like I said, with this aggressive dump, we could still see aggressive pullback back into these areas up there, or maybe to this area of supply here. We stalled a little bit before that dump. So yeah, I'm still seeing a little bit more upside for AU. I think NZD USD might be the same, because these pairs do move very similar. So you can see with this one, again, consolidation, dump to the upside, not as much of a dump as AUD USD, but still quite an aggressive dump, and now we're seeing some upside. So we're coming back into this area of support here, now some resistance here on the daily. So we'll see what happens here. So far we're looking quite bullish, but if price wants to respect this, react with this level, we could see some nice shorts coming here for NZD USD. Still looking bullish there, as you can see, build up there, big push to the upside. We are losing momentum though, because you can see this, the size of the candles is reducing in size. So obviously the momentum from these candles here is starting to die out, which does imply that we might see a move to the downside here. Again, nothing's 100%, but that's a signal saying that yes, we could see a dump. And then if you look in the lower time frames, you can see we are consolidating a little bit there. So if price can keep up this consolidation, I can see a dump to the downside here. We've got a break and retest there on the daily, and also a nice area of supply here on the left as well on the 4H. So it's at a nice level, but because of that momentum, we could still break to the upside. So definitely important to wait for those confirmations. Wait for those confirmations to get involved, because right now there's nothing there yet. But yeah, it's at a nice area to look to sell, and potentially could be seeing a reaction. But I think a lot of these USD pairs might be seeing a little bit more upside, so make sure you don't jump in too early, because what I've gauged from looking at all these USD pairs like NZD USD, Pound USD, Euro USD, they look like they can still have a little bit more upside first to test some levels or form some better structure, then see the sell-off. So avoid getting in too early, which is difficult to do, because in hindsight you can say, yeah, I got in too early, but beforehand you don't know if you're getting early or not, because you think you might miss the move. But from my experience, it's best to miss the move and write down why you missed it, what happened, then get in and just lose money, and then feel sorry for yourself after it's happened. So yeah, definitely practice patience, but yeah, much easier said than done. So yeah, like I said, USDJPY does look good for sales here. Saw a nice push to the upside, and again that's why it's important to look for price action, because yesterday on Monday I was looking for sales for USDJPY to take this to the downside. I think price opened up and I woke up and it was around here, around there, so I was looking for sales, but again the market was still showing me higher highs, higher lows, so I let it be, and then it broke to the upside. So I was like, oh, is USDJPY going to push up now, or is it just coming back to respect this level up here? Came back to respect that level, dumped the downside in the afternoon, so I knew that okay, I'm just going to wait for some retracement and now I'm going to look to get involved. So I'm going to wait for that candle to close, just to make sure it doesn't pull back up like the candle there previously, and then yeah, look for some sales, because we had some nice resistance here. Oh, that's just not what I wanted to use. Nice resistance there, test, break, retest there, and also there as well. So the trend line break and retest now as resistance. So we'll be looking at this target down there, and then a break of that, this target all the way down there. So the risk to reward is looking good here for USDJPY for this sell off to the downside. Should be hitting at least 3 to 1, maybe 4, but yeah, 3 to 1, that looks good. Back down to this area here, and then back down to the area. But like I said, my weekly analysis, I can actually still see USDJPY breaking through these lows and fully going to the downside, because we've had that liquidity grab up here, taking out these highs there, taking out that high, taking out that high there as well. So we've had the liquidity grab, taking out those highs, so we've got that extra kick needed to really dump to the downside if this wants to do that. So I'll probably leave a little bit on this trade to trickle through and see if we can move down to maybe the 108 area. But yeah, the sales do look good here for USDJPY, which might mean we might be seeing some US dollar weakness maybe. Let me look at the DXY. DXY, we have seen that weakness obviously, but still respecting that higher highs and higher lows nature. So we're coming into this area here for the DXY. I want to see what that happens there. Nice resistance turn support. Will it hold on to? Will it not? I think I'll probably make my mind up on that by the end of the day. See how this daily candle closes, because that's a lot of bearish momentum there, and we could just leak to the downside, or we could just spring back up again. And if we do have that spring back up again, then I think tomorrow, Wednesday, will be some good buys on that pullback for, like, well, not buys, sells for Eur Usd, but buys for the DXY. Gold, yeah, sure, we'll take a look at gold for you. So gold, for me, looking very bullish, looking very bullish here. Nice breakout to the upside. We've broken out through this area of consolidation here, so price was stalling there last week, it's breaking to the upside this week, and it's coming into a nice area of supply here. So this kind of 1808, 1812, nice area of supply. As you can see, we had that force move, spike up, spike back down, consolidated, massive dump to the downside, and we're coming back into that same area there. So I can see for gold a little bit more upside into that area. This is the hourly time frame. If you can push the upside in that area, find some resistance, form some lower highs, I think some downside will look good for gold. And again, just coming back into that area of consolidation, because normally when you do see the market push, consolidate and push again, it normally does come back to retest that consolidation and then continue to the upside. So that's what I can see happening for gold, a retest of that consolidation. But first, the setup's not quite there yet, so definitely wait for the price action to form. But I think maybe one more push to the upside, because that's a very, very bullish move there. This looks just to be retrace of that bullish move, so I can see another push to the upside there, back into that area of supply. And then if we do have a reaction to that, form some lower highs, double top, something like that, can get involved in some sales, short-term sales, back down to this level, because like I said, long-term I'm still bullish, so I'm more inclined to take the buys. And I think we can see a lot more upside for gold in the near future. So yeah, I'm looking at gold for buys, but for now, short-term sales do look good. Nice area of supply, back to this area of consolidation, retest that, then might see some upside from there. So that's what I'm expecting for gold over the next day or so, because I'm not too sure how long that will take. Probably could see a move into there by today maybe, and then might be some sales good tomorrow morning. Eur Usd, yeah, we'll take a look at that. Eur Yeah, so for Euro USD, I said for this one, I'm looking for sales. So yeah, I'm looking for sales for USD. No, I keep saying USD. Right? Yeah, I'm looking for sales for Euro USD. It hasn't quite hit my area yet of interest, 1.17600 support here. Now turn resistance. It hasn't quite hit that level yet, so I'm not going to get involved yet. You said it hit the top of the channel, so is this the channel you're looking at? Something like that. Just connecting that high to that high to that high, because yeah, it has reached that trend line there. So yeah, it does make sense selling for that. Like I did say for Euro USD, it's hit that trend line as well. And on the hourly, we've got this nice dump, sell back, pull back, and then another sell to the downside. So I said if we can pull back, form a double top here, I'll look to get involved in some shorts, something like that. Pull back into there, hold that. I will look to sell it back down. But my favored setup is if price can find a little bit more room to the upside to hit that level there, support, turn, resistance, and then I'll look to sell it back down. So I agree with the setup. I'm just not too sure if it might be a bit too early. I mean, we have hit that that channel, that trend line. So if price wants to respect that, then yes, we could see that dump to the downside for Euro USD. I mean, I tend to work more with levels, support, resistance than trend lines. It just works better for me. I'm sure a lot of people trade trend lines perfectly fine, but for me, I like to focus on levels. Trend lines for me is just like an extra confluence, but yeah, for me, I like to have my levels drawn out and see if price can get to those levels. Then if I can get a trend line in there somewhere, or if there is a trend line in there somewhere, then that will be like extra confidence in my favor. So yeah, we're stalling at this trend line here. So if the market wants to respect that trend line and fall over to the downside, then yeah, that makes perfect sense. But for me, I'm waiting for that one more push to the upside, and then I'll look to sell. But I do agree with the bias, and I will be looking for sales here for Euro USD. Yeah, that is true. That is true. For me, yeah, I mean, I do look for wicks. I do look for wicks when I look to enter trades. But I tried to make sure that the wicks, are quite exaggerated. So it was good. It was good wicks there, but I like to see it a bit more exaggerated, like something like that. That for me is like a stone cold indication that we're gonna fall to the downside. And as you can see, we did fall there. So exaggerated wicks and normally have a high probability of price going in the opposite direction there. So yeah, the wicks were looking good. It's a good indication, but what I found is that when you do see the wicks, it doesn't normally it doesn't always show you how far the market will go. So something like this, that was a good wick rejections, but then the market might only fall to like here and then might come back up again. But when you see wicks like that, so it means that so many stop losses have been taken out and so many orders have been activated that we can see a bit more of a sell-off. So the longer the wick for me is kind of like the longer the move that potentially that could happen. So that's kind of what I've sussed out from my experience. So yeah, wicks are always good. Wicks are definitely a thing that I do look for quite a lot, and those wicks are good there. But again, I can't say the word. I put above levels first for when I come to trading. Key psychological levels, key levels is first, and then I look for price action, and then wicks are just like a good bonus in my direction. But yeah, I do agree, and yeah, that's good. I mean, if you don't risk too much, and if you can give yourself some wiggle room, it's definitely the better. Always give yourself some wiggle room, because price action isn't perfect. It might wick to the upside, it might do whatever before it does work in your favor. So yeah, always give yourself some wiggle room, and that's good that you've done that, because it also helps with your psychology as well, and gives you a peace of mind that okay, it doesn't have to go in my direction as soon as I enter this trade. It can do what it wants. I can come back in a couple of hours time and then check the trade later. So that's good that you've done that as well. But yeah, I'm looking for sales as well for Eur USD. AUD NZD, a sure thing. We'll take a look at that. It's been a while since I looked at this pair. Not my favorite pair. Okay, so are you looking for buys or sells? Where is 1.03? Okay, imagine sells then. 1.03 to that's a big drop that you're looking for. You've used higher time frames to locate that level, because 1.3 there is okay. It's about this level here then. Yeah, that is a good place. It's a good place because, as you can see, some nice support all across here. So the market is definitely drawn to this area. The market is attracted to that. You know, multiple attempts, resistance there as well. And normally when we did see the break and the break above, we did generate a massive move to the upside. So it definitely is an area we could come to. But the thing is, when you're looking for targets like that, it's best to try and enter near the top of those moves, because you know you could be right. You know, you well could be right. Price could definitely head to that area, and I'll probably think it would do as well. But it could do something like that before it hits there. So it's better to be safe than sorry. Make sure like there's nothing wrong, because it could just drop to that level, but make sure you do bank in some profit, bank in some partials as well. You know, stop loss to break even would be great as well, just to take your risk completely off the table. So yeah, it's a little bit aggressive, more of like a higher time frame level, but it's definitely a place that price is drawn to. So especially if this price action in here, I'll probably say it would eventually get there, but you always run the risk that price might want to mess around first, do whatever it wants to do, and then dump to your target. So yeah, just make sure you take your partials, make sure you take your profit to ease the psychology as well. Yeah, it's a hard transition. It's a hard transition because swing trading requires a lot more patience than day trading, and a lot more sitting on your hands as well, which is quite difficult. But yeah, you've got to be sitting on your hands, definitely. Yeah, but an important aspect of swing trading is taking partials as well, because swing trading, you're looking for that bigger move in the market that might take 2, 3, 4, 5 days even for the move to happen. So it's important to take profit, because you know at any point during those 2, 3, 4, 5 days, a news event could come, fundamentals could come, cause a massive spike, you know, to take you out or anything, and you could be running in profit really nicely for the first 2 days, and the next day could just take it all back. So it's important to always take partials. But then the positive thing about swing trading is that it's a lot more relaxed, and you know, not trading as much, and it takes a little bit more time for your TP to hit, so it gives you time to do other stuff as well. So yeah, I definitely think swing trading is the way forward, but just make sure you balance your psychology and take some profit as well. So yeah, USD is looking good. I'll probably be looking to get into a sell, something like that. I've got another 6 minutes before this candle closes, but I'll look to get into a trade like that. And first target, we'll be looking at that area there, and second target, this area down there. Maybe might look to push it on a little bit more. But yeah, USD is looking good for some sells here, and I'll look to enter on that candle closure. Again, nice rejection there on the 4H. And yeah, I've had a bias to the downside for USD since last week, so I've been looking for these sells for a few days now, which is another thing with swing trading. You know, your setup doesn't normally occur, you know, quite quickly. It might take a couple of days to do that. But yeah, it's looking good for swings to the downside here. You just want to wait for that candle to close, and then I'll let to get involved. GJ, yeah, sure thing. GJ, like I said, for this one, I'm waiting for a lower high. It's pushing back into the support. It's looking good. We do have this resistance here if I take that across, so potential head and shoulders is on the cards here. So shoulder, head, excuse me, shoulder, head, then the shoulder here, and then lower high, then can look to take that down to the downside, and then, you know, end target will be down there, but we might be looking at some targets there to take partials as well. But yeah, pound JPY is looking good for sells. Very big push to the upside, nice dump to the downside, giving us a fake move there potentially. So yeah, I just want to see that lower high to confirm the move, and then yeah, sales do look good for me for pound JPY. I might not get involved in this trade though, because if I do get used to JPY, you know, I'm already trading a JPY pair, so I'm not going to try and over leverage myself and get into, you know, multiple JPY positions. But yeah, it does look good. If you can get a lower high, that'd be great, and then sell it back down into these levels here, because this is, you know, still strong support. It's not the best place to enter, even though we think it might break. Probably want to see another push back into this kind of area here. If that can happen, that would be great. Lower high, and then sells back down again there for GJ. But biases to the downside. Like I said, it pulled back into a key level that I was looking at. If I go on the daily, no support, turn resistance, we pushed into that area, so I'm expecting a reaction, and we are seeing that reaction so far. So yeah, more downside for GJ, I think, if you can break through that support down there. Am I bearish on USD? USD is kind of in a sticky place for me. I wouldn't say I'm bullish or bearish yet. I mean, the market is bullish, so from a structural point of view, I would say I'm bullish on the DXY, because, you know, still got these higher highs and high lows. But when you see price action like this, it normally does indicate that we're running out of steam here, especially after a big move like that. When you see a big move like that and the market does this choppy move like that, it normally does mean that the market is running out of steam, and we could be seeing quite an aggressive sell-off to the downside soon. So I think DXY could be turning bearish, but I don't want to say that, because I don't want to be looking for sells in a bullish market, because this is a bullish market here, and we could easily see, you know, another move to the upside here, and that could be a really nice buy for the DXY, or sell for the Eur Usd, you know, opposite. So that could be, you know, a nice move to capitalize on. So I don't want to say I'm bearish, but if I start seeing, you know, lows get taken out, or maybe a key trend line, something like that, getting taken out, then yeah, I probably would start to change my bias to bearish. And if you do see a lower high, something like that, then yeah, I'll definitely be bearish on the DXY there if something like that happens. But yeah, I'm still bullish, but I'm not convinced yet. I'm kind of on I'm on the fence right now. If you ask me, I'd say I'm bullish, but you know, that could easily change bearish. I think short term we'll probably see some upside, but if we break through that trend line, then, you know, we might be seeing a dump to the downside, especially for the lower high, because we could have a fake out of the trend line. You know, that always happens. You know, you could break through the trend line, come back up again, do something like that. You know, that could definitely happen. So it's not always the break that's the significant point. It's the whether we break and we respect that as resistance, or we form a lower high. Then that is the key. That yeah, DXY, if that happens there, and I'll probably expect to see, you know, a big sell off back down to these lows here, and probably even a lot further. So I'm bullish, but I could change bearish quite quickly. Okay, so it's coming up to 11 p.m. GMT, so that's my time here, and I will be looking to get involved there. Slight pullback, but nothing major for me. There I'll still look to get involved in that move, maybe increase my stop loss a little bit there. But yeah, looking for sales back down to these lows here again for use JPY, and I will be looking to get into this move now. I think I'll do also a post on my Telegram as well. Yeah, so if you haven't checked out my Telegram channel, make sure you go do that. Link is in the description for that. I do post my trading setups there for you guys to see, and if you can, get involved, or you can take on a demo if you want. You don't have to risk your capital. But yeah, we'll be looking to get involved in this trade here. Okay, so yeah, I've just gotten into that position. Pound AUD, what's going on there? Pound AUD. So yeah, this one's looking quite bearish. Again, AU, we've seen some strength there from the Aussie dollar. So you know, Aussie dollar going up, pound AUD's coming down. Would you look for buys at? I probably wouldn't really look for buys for pound AUD. It's a bullish market, yes, but it's coming into its last legs now. So if I was to look for buys, it would have to be either at this support down here or this resistance here. So 1.89. So 1.89200. Yes, I'll probably say yes, I would, but 1.89 is the better area, I would say, because psychological level, and also you got the break and retest of that resistance turn support as well. So I'll probably look for slightly down, but yes, you're kind of in the right area anyway. But yeah, that resistance here now turns support, or that support down there, that's the only place I'll look for buys, and it will only be short-term buys as well, because it's quite an aggressive move here. So I wouldn't be too aggressive with the position and swing it all the way back up to these highs here. I'll probably look for an area of supply, maybe this area here. A push back up into that would work, or a push back up into that, like something like that I would look for, because pound AUD's had a massive move to the upside recently, and you know, I wouldn't say it's going to turn over, because at this moment in time it's still a bullish market, but yeah, it's definitely an extended market that I wouldn't look to get too aggressive with my longs, but I also wouldn't get too aggressive with my sells as well, because I still have to respect the trend of the market. But yeah, that's a nice area, and potentially that area there. Pound NZD, yeah, sure thing. Pound NZD, I'll look at USD in a second. Pound NZD, so yeah, pound NZD, a big dump to the downside this morning. Again, if I go on the daily chart, you can see the market is definitely running out of some steam here. We've seen some nice, you know, bullish candles here, but when the price action is looking so choppy like this, it does indicate that we're running out of steam here, and price is obviously rejecting that resistance there quite well. So pound NZD is looking very bearish here. I'll probably be looking for sells for this one, but with after that move, I'll probably have to wait for price to retrace now. Again, we do have this trend line here. If I just draw that a little bit better, we do have this trend line here in the market, which we've been respected really nicely, and I think that's where the market is heading to. So if you do see some retracement for pound NZD, I'll be looking to get into some sells back into this level here. I think around that 1.97 mark, nice psychological level there as well. So yeah, pound NZD is still bearish here. I reckon some longs might be good from the trend line, but I think that's where we're heading to. So if you want to short it down into the trend line, yes, that would be good. Or if you want to look for buys at that trend line, that will probably be good as well. But pound NZD for me, it's on its last legs on this bullish trend, and I think it's going to reverse soon, either later this week or maybe next week. So yeah, if you do look to buy from here, my advice is don't hold on for those buys for too long. Maybe look for a move, something like this, a nice move there, maybe to around this level here, 1.98, and then yeah, be sure to take your profit or stops to break even, because we could turn around quickly. And then yeah, pound NZD, if you do see retracement, yeah, I think that's just another invitation to get in for some sales, head for that trend line down there. So yeah, I can see a push down to that trend line, but if you do retrace, yeah, I'll probably look for some sales, but I'm not too sure if we will do that or retrace enough, because of all that momentum there. You know, we could just continue to the downside there. So pound NZD, I think you've missed the move right now. Probably would rather get in up here. So yeah, I'll probably wait for that to retrace. It might not do that because it's so bearish, but if it does, I think it's just another opportunity to get in some sells. USD, yeah, so I'm in that position right now looking for some sells. If I just go on the hourly time frame, so yeah, I'm looking for some sells for this one. Price has retraced to my designated area. Nice dump to the downside there. Pullback, formed a lower high there potentially. We haven't really punctured these lows yet, so it's not a lower high. I'm anticipating it's going to be a lower high though. So yeah, we pull back into this area. Nice rejection of this trend line here. So support, support, support. Now turn resistance. Nice respect of that trend line. So yeah, I'm looking for a dump to the downside now for USD. Stops above there. And yeah, if I go on the higher time frames like the 4H, I'm looking to target this support all the way down here, because you can see the nature of the market. You know, dump, pullback, dump, pullback, dump, pullback, just to take out these highs here. So we form that liquidity grab, grabbing liquidity, taking out people's stop losses above these highs. Massive dump there, treating that as retracement. Now looking for the sell off to the downside. So looking for sells for USD/JPY. And yeah, if it can respect that resistance, which so far it's doing, I think we could be on for a really nice move to the downside there for this pair. So yeah, nice break and retest of the trend line plus that resistance, nice momentum there. And I think USD/JPY should be heading down to these lows here. Of course, if it does break through this, probably stop me out. If that's the case, you know, that's perfectly fine. I'll probably look to re-enter or reanalyze depending on what price action we get. If price can stay below this, then I'll still be looking for sells again to take that back down. Still be looking for sells if that happens. But if the price takes me out here, so if price takes my stop loss and takes this level out, we might be turning bullish. In that case, I'll probably change my bias. But yeah, looking for sells here in sell currently. I'm looking for this is my first TP because you can see the big dump here. You know, this is a big level here where we did see quite an aggressive reaction. So you know, it could come into this level down there and then push up again. So do make sure you take your profit, take partials at least, or those lows there. So that's what I'm looking at for USD/JPY. Yeah, sure, no problem. Happy to help. And this is a swing trade as well, so it might take a few days to play out. Maybe might play out by the end of the week if we can see some momentum. If we see some momentum like we saw like here, you know, hopefully that can be done by the end of the week, but it could take a little bit longer. We'll see. It'd be great to see a bit more weakness in the DXY as well to help the trade out. Like I said, if we can see this level getting taken out here, so that trend line there, if you can see that getting taken out, that will be great. Take out that trend line, form a lower high, act as resistance, something like that. Then if you do see something like that happen for the DXY, then you know that probably will help USD/JPY out quite significantly, and see a nice dump for that pair as well. But remember, this is support for the DXY, so we could still see some upside. Okay. Yeah, I'm a full-time Forex trader. Been doing Forex for about 3.5, is it? 3.5 years, I think. Yeah, I think about 3.5 maybe, or might be coming up to 4, something around that. 3.5, 4 years. Sometimes I do a little bit of both. I don't always draw it from the wicks. Sometimes I do use just the wicks because it looks sometimes it's quite accurate, so I do use the wicks. But then sometimes if I use the body as well, so I make sure the wicks and the body, so sometimes I start with the wick and then use the bodies. It includes more more candles, so it shows a better average of where price is rejecting. So if I draw the trend line just using the wicks, it's more for accuracy. But if I draw it using the wick initially and then just use bodies, it's more just a gauge of, you know, the rejection of the general area that price is rejecting. So I'll probably say the best one to draw is probably when you start off the wick here, then use the bodies, because it shows a nice average of price. It's not always accurate though, because we could slightly, you know, dip below it, dip above it, dip below it, and have some false breaks. But it does show a nice general area for the trend. So that's probably what I'd recommend to draw trend lines, and that's how I use it. This is not a stock. This is Forex here. This is power. This is a DXY there, but it's not a stock. It's a US dollar index. Pound NZD, yeah, sure thing. Pound NZD, so yeah, pound NZD, big move to the downside for this pair. Like I said, for this one, kind of already missed the move already. You know, if I was looking to get into this, it would definitely be around that area there, not after this move here. For me, I'll probably want to see some retracement now for pound NZD before I do get in, and then if that happens, yeah, I will be looking to get involved in some sells to take it back down into this level here. But yeah, pound NZD for me, it's looking like it's on its last legs here. We've been pushing to the upside, very choppy market as well. But yeah, price is respecting this resistance really well, so I do expect to see a push back down into this trend line here as well. I do expect to see a push back down into that trend line here as well. Or maybe some short-term buys from this trend line here might be nice, something like that, or something like that as well. So yeah, pound NZD kind of really missed the move, but the next move is always around the corner, and if we do see some retrace, it'll probably be a move to the downside. Will be some nice sells there, or if we can dump to the downside, come into this trend line, I do expect to see a bounce, and that could be some nice buys there. So either selling that retracement or buying on that pullback there at that trend line, I'll probably say is the best opportunity for pound NZD. But again, for me, the moves already happened for this one, so I'll probably let it be and look for trades elsewhere. But if I was looking to trade pound NZD, that will probably what I'll be looking at for that pair. So yeah, I hope that analysis helped. Aud Cad, yeah, sure thing. Aud Cad, a little bit choppy this pair. We've been dumping to the downside on the daily quite aggressively, as you can see there. Finding a little bit of support here on the 4H, but yeah, for me, pound NZD is still quite bearish here. I wouldn't look to get involved in any buys yet. There's no reason here to get into any buys. If you're looking at getting any buys, you have to be on the lower time frames, like 15-minute here, and you know, sculpt the buys. Could be a good technique, but for me, I'll probably wait for price to retrace up, maybe back into, you know, this kind of area here. That's really poorly drawn. A little bit better, something like that, connecting these highs there, then look for sells here to take it back down again. I think that's the best opportunity, because this is a very bearish market, looking at pretty much all the higher time frames from the monthly, weekly, daily, 4H. It's still a bearish market, so if you're looking to buy this, you're definitely going to be up against it. I'm not saying you can't win a trade buying, but you know, the probability is not in your favor, and you want to be trading with the probability, you know, definitely in your favor. So yeah, definitely wait for a pullback to the upside, then I'll look to sell it back down again. Might be some temporary buys in here. Maybe if we can form, you know, a strong support here, which we are doing so far. Nice double bottom there potentially. So if you can, you know, just reject that many times there, maybe a couple more times, that'll be good to buy back into that trend line up there. But again, you just, you know, you're playing against the trend there, so you're going to be up against it. So I'll probably wait for price to retrace and then look for some sells for Aud Cad. I think that's the best opportunity for this pair, but like I said, higher time frames normally always win, so it's best to be in the direction of them, whether you're trading just for a little bit or trying to get, you know, 100 pips. I had to learn to master myself, really. Yeah, that's the hardest bit, learning how to how to discipline and master yourself and control your emotions as well, because most people have the technical knowledge to be successful. Like, you could just go on Google right now, search up I don't know, double top trading strategy on Google, find a strategy, back test it on a demo for like 50 trades, and be consistent with it. Take the exact same set. I know every setup will be slightly different, but the exact same concept of price rejecting an area of resistance twice, double top. And if you come out on top, you've got the skills to be profitable in Forex. But then when you go into a live account, got all those emotions, tied with money, and that's what inevitably keeps you underneath, keeps you from progressing to be profitable on a live account. So it's mastering yourself. What are your weaknesses, and not necessarily your weaknesses and technically or fundamentally, but your weaknesses as a person, like your fear of losing, your fear of missing out, your guilt when you lose a trade, or being happy when you win a trade, or the need for revenge to make money back when you lose. So understand what your weaknesses are, and then put things in place to make sure you don't react that way. So if you do a lot of revenge trading, be strict on yourself that when you do lose a trade, you're not looking at the computer and you're just getting away. So that way you're not revenge trading, because you're not at the computer. So it's stuff like that, controlling emotions and being disciplined. Just write down a strict strategy that you're going to follow for the next month or two. It could be something on Google, it could be something that you already have, it could be something that you've been back testing and then you think that could be good. And yeah, just do at least back test 50 trades at least on the demo account, or 100, even better. The more the better. And then if you can come out with a profit, then you have the skills to be profitable in Forex. But when you go to a live account, it doesn't happen like that. Why? Because of emotions, because of lack of discipline, lack of consistency. So it's definitely understanding yourself, what are your weaknesses, what emotions that you need to control, and then putting things in place. And that's the hardest bit, because no one's going to check on you. Are you managing emotions? Are you stepping away? Are you being disciplined? And the hardest bit as well, because you can take a trade that kind of follows your plan. It's like a kind of trade. It's like it's got this, so it does follow my plan, but then it's got that, so it doesn't as well. And then but you still take it because you don't want to miss out on that trade, just in case if it does win. Stuff like that you need to get out of your game, because stuff like that is what's going to keep you moving backwards. Because number one, you can't focus on your plan, and number two, you can't get over your fear of missing out. Just not take that trade. And a good skill is if you feel like you want to take a trade but you shouldn't, or this is maybe not the one to take, just write it down, write the trade down, write the setup down, take a screenshot. TradingView's got quite a good platform for you to take screenshots and record the screen. So take that, walk away, see what happens. If it's a loss or a win, write that down, and then learn from that. So okay, it worked this time, let me try and find it again. Write it down. Okay, it worked again. Or get that same setup 10, 20 times. Over the course of 20 trades, it works 13, fails 7. Then that's something that you could take in the future now. But at that time, if it doesn't follow your plan, then don't take the trade, just write it down. So the biggest one is definitely mastering yourself, understanding your weaknesses, not technically, nothing to do about the charts, just understanding your weaknesses and your emotional weaknesses, and then once you understand that, then it's quite plain sailing. It's quite simple. Trading Forex is quite simple, but our emotions and our lack of discipline and lack of consistency is what makes it difficult. So that's the biggest thing for me. That's the biggest thing for a lot of people, because a lot of people, what is it, like 90% of people don't make money in Forex or something like that, 95. So, and the thing is, you can go on Google and just find a profitable strategy right now. Like double top is a profitable strategy, support and resistance is a profitable strategy, but 90% people can't trade successfully because a lot of people. Also, another thing as well that did help me is also thinking about the long-term stuff, because if you want to become a full-time trader, then that indicates that you're trading for a full length of time, an occupation. You don't take a job and have it in your head that you're only going to work for a week. You take a job and you're going to work for 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years, even 5 years. So that's full time. You're there for the long run. And when you're trying to become a full-time trader, you have to be there for the long run. So don't judge your profits, don't judge a losing trade, don't judge a winning trade, don't judge a winning week either. Judge your progress after a month, 2 months, 6 months. Judge it on that, because you want to be full-time. You want to be trading for as an occupation, as a career. So you have to judge it on a full-time scale, not like, okay, it's been 2 days, I've lost 2 trades, I'm a bad trader. No, because even the best traders in the world will lose 2 trades as well. But they judge it on the long term. So stop trading in the now. So when you're looking at a trade, it doesn't really matter. Like the trade I've got on right now, used to JPY, I don't know if it's doing well or not, it's pulling back, but the success of this trade doesn't define me as a trader. Like if this loses, it doesn't mean I'm a bad trader, and the same thing, if it wins, it doesn't mean I'm a good trader. Is whether can I do that consistently over 2, 3, 6 year, 2 years of time. And if I can consistently enter the same trade, same type of trade, same criteria, manage my emotions, then yeah, that will mean I'm a good trader. So it's also not just looking for the long term, saying, okay, I'm going to trade this system here for the next month. I'm not going to even check my P&L, my capital, my balance, whatever, for the next month. Well, you obviously have to if you want to trade, but not like look into it or pay too much attention to it. So yeah, it's definitely just detaching yourself from the trade, and just staying disciplined, having a plan, following that plan to the T, and also make your plan simple. Make your plan simple. Don't make it complicated. Make it simple that you know exactly what you're doing. Like simple, like you're waiting for a break and retest of a trend line. Break and retest trend line is simple. You know what exactly that is. I'm not saying that should be a strategy, but something what you're trading, but write it in a simple way so it's easy to follow. So that's what you want to be seeing in your trading. But yeah, the biggest one is definitely manage your emotions and detach yourself from the trading as well. But it's definitely a hard process though. It's definitely a hard process. But it's worthwhile because you learn a lot about yourself as well when you're trading Forex. You learn a lot about yourself, which coming into trading, I didn't know a lot about myself until I started trading. Then I found out a lot about myself. And I only started trading Forex when I was 18, and now I'm turning 22 next week. But I wouldn't say 18, probably like halfway through 18. But yeah, guys, geez, had a nice little deep chat there. But yeah, guys, if you're looking at any different pairs and looking at any pairs that you want to get involved in for some trades, or any setups that I've missed as well, because I don't see everything, any setups I've missed, feel free to let me know, drop it in the chat, and yeah, we'll take a look at it together. Any opportunities, get involved. Could be a nice sell-off here on Euro JPY, looking at that price action, nice push, pull back, push, pull back, something like that. Could be a nice for third lower high. So that's one high, second high, third lower high, or even a retest of that. But yeah, Euro JPY does look good. So you might be seeing some weakness in the JPYs. Look, pound JPY is pushing up because remember that support is a strong area of support. This resistance here looks good, so head and shoulders is on, and if that can come up, form that head and shoulders, and that'll be a good setup. But if it does break through this, then we might be pushing higher. So that's why it's important to wait for those confirmations, because if you do break through, then we're probably pushing higher, and if that's the case, I'll probably stay out, look elsewhere. Yeah, I would say it did take me 3 years to master psychology, but I wouldn't say my psychology is mastered. It's just okay standard where I can actually trade okay. But I've still got a lot to learn, because I'm only 3 to 4 years into my journey, and you've got some people that are 10, 15, even 20 years into trading. So I've still got a long way to go, a lot of things to learn about myself and about Forex as well. But yeah, the thing is, it might have took me 3 years to get my psychology to an all right level, but I didn't know about psychology till about halfway through the second year. So I mean, for most of trying to get to profitable is just like, because I kept changing from one strategy to another. I kept flicking through different strategies, so I always thought it's the strategy that's the problem, but at the same time I knew it kind of wasn't, so I was kind of lying to myself a little bit, because I know people who can trade Forex just off quite simple strategies, and I know a lot more of them technically, but then they can trade Forex better than me and generate better profits. But I've got all this knowledge, I've got all these knowledge of different strategies, but I can't get an end product. So I was definitely fighting that battle until I just stepped away from strategies, focused on myself, picked a simple strategy, and then when I started gaining more confidence, I could start adding bits more of that strategy, start adding more of my knowledge to that strategy to make it my own, and and then expand from there on. But yeah, because a lot of people spend a lot of time back testing, but if they spent the amount of time back testing on their psychology, they'll see a way better results. In fact, if you spent double the time that you spend back testing on your psychology, you see astounding results, and you probably go from not profitable to profitable in the space of like 2-3 months, I reckon. By Christmas, I reckon you'll probably be profitable if you just focus on your psychology. But again, a lot easier said than done. But yeah, best way to do that is just whip out a notepad and write down your thoughts and feelings when you're taking a trade, when you feel guilty, when you feel the need to get into a trade, when you feel happy because you want to trade, when you feel sad because you lost a trade. Because like even now I still feel a little bit of guilty, a little bit of revenge when I do lose a trade. It's quite hard to shake off that feeling completely. But the important thing is that I'm aware of those thoughts, I'm aware of those feelings. When I do take a trade, I get the urge to avenge it, or and the guilt of losing it, like that's a stupid mistake, why did I take that trade? But then I'm aware of it, and then I push that feeling to one side, step away from the markets, come back, and then I look where I could have gone better, or and address that problem there. But I make sure that I distance myself from the charts because if I'm not at the charts, I can't take a trade. It's just as simple as that. And it's hard at first because you want to stay at the charts and want to find another trade. But if you wrote down in your plan, if you lose a trade, get away from the charts, just follow that. And it's funny because it's quite easy. All you have to do is just walk away, but your mind tells you other things. But yeah, the first step is definitely just awareness, aware of what you're doing, aware of the feelings, aware of the thoughts. Because once you have that, then you complete step 1. Step 2 is, once you're aware of it, recognize why you have it. Why do you feel guilty? Why do you feel the need to avenge that trade? Why do you feel happy when you win a trade? Why do you feel sad when you lose a trade? Why do you have fear of missing out? When you establish that, then you can once you're aware of it, once you establish why you have it, then you can just separate yourself from it. You understand why you have it. You have the fear of missing out because you see other people online doing really good with their trading, posting great profits, great trades, capturing a lot of pips, and you feel jealous because you're not getting those pips in right now. So you want to get into this trade just in case if it does give you a big move, you can post online as well, or feel good about yourself because you know you can compare yourself with them. So we find out that you feel guilty, or you feel sad, or you have the fear of missing out. So that's the awareness, recognizing why, because you compare yourself to traders online. And then 3 is to understand that you compare yourself to traders online. So step 3 is literally just unfollow them, or don't go online when you're trading. Like a year ago, I used to follow so many people on Instagram, on Twitter, so many people. Now I barely follow anyone. There's a lot of people that I used to look up to as well. When I was a newbie, a lot of traders I used to look up to, like, wow, I wish I could be like them. Wow, look at how they're trading, how easy it is from them. I wish I could be on that level. And I would look at their posts, trying to study how they trade. And yeah, I just had to unfollow like all of them. It's not because I don't like what they're doing, but I know that I compare myself to them. And how can I compare myself to them when I've got 1 year of trading and they've got 8? You know, they're on a different level to me completely. I shouldn't even be comparing myself to them at all. If they're on 8 years experience and I've got 1, or someone's got 3 years and I've got 1 year, or someone's got 3 years and 1 month, you can't really compare yourself to them because they've been doing it a lot longer. So I had to unfollow a lot of people and just focused on my trading myself. And when I unfollowed a lot of people, I had less people to compare myself to, so I didn't feel as bad when I lost the trade. But yeah, it's definitely psychology. It's definitely psychology, and it doesn't take you 3 years to master psychology. You can do that in about a couple months. Just a little bit every day. You can do that in a couple months. Whilst I've got you guys here, so should I be doing a lot more content on psychology? Would you guys find that useful? Because I've been thinking I could do some videos about how to help with psychology wise with trading. Not that I'm a psychologist or I'm an expert or anything, just giving you advice based on my own experience. Yeah, so would you guys like to see that, or would you guys like to see more technical analysis based content? So let me know, and I'm happy to do both. But if you guys want to see a bit more psychology stuff, please let me know, because we'll get involved in that. Yeah, sure, we'll take a look now. Okay, so we're looking quite bullish here. We're looking quite bullish here. We've seen some nice wicks there, bit of tweezers there on the daily. Nice spike 1, spike 2, pull back. So that looks good for more upside. If we go on the 4H, we're coming into some resistance here. So again, not the best place to buy either. I think maybe if we could see some downside here for for this market, it'll be good, because if that does happen, this is a good place to look for buys, and we can take it up again on the double bottom, so 1, 2, and take it back into these high 6. From a daily point of view, it looks like we're still trying to head to the upside. You know, I think this here could be a really nice target up there, probably these highs again. So yeah, I probably want to see another spike to the downside, because that's just not a good place to look to buy into that resistance. So if you can see a move to the downside, hold into that area as a double bottom. So nice wick rejection like we saw here. There are some great rejections there. And then we can see some nice buying opportunities, double bottom back into this level, and then you can look to target these levels up there. So yeah, I'm biased to the upside looking at the daily. You know, we're still bullish here, nice wick rejections there. I think more upside for this market, and yeah, we could be back at highs pretty soon if that price action does continue. There is a chance that we might not pull back, of course. It might just break through that and continue, and if that's the case, let it just do that, and then when it comes back down, you can look to buy the dip, higher low, and then take it up. But I think a really nice opportunity would be if it can pull back to there and then push on. So yeah, I think, yeah, more upside for this one, but I want to see it pull back first. Not a great place to buy. So yeah, I want it to pull back and then more upside from there on. Yeah, that is so true. Technical analysis always get more views because that's what everyone thinks that they need to improve on. That's why when someone posts about amazing new strategy, double your account in like a month, you know, that's going to get a lot of views, because who wouldn't want to double their account in a month? And also, you know, for a lot of people thinking I just need to work on technicals, it's gonna get more views. So yeah, that's definitely the case. And the funny thing is, if you look at the views for yeah, no problem, happy to help. If you look at the views for psychology based videos and the views for psychology based videos and the views for technical analysis videos, you know, it's probably about 10 times more views in technical analysis than psychology. And the funny thing is, psychology is probably what people need, whereas that gets the least. Hence why 90% of people in Forex don't make it, because they're focusing on the wrong thing. If you could just switch their views around, I bet a lot of people would be finding a lot more success in this industry. But yeah, people make their own choices. I mean, I make sure I keep it, you know, genuine. If I feel like I need to, you know, tell people that you might need to focus something else, or you might be doing something a little bit wrong, or keep doing the same thing, you know, I will let you guys know. But yeah, I'll keep making both, because I know technical analysis is definitely an important thing, and it's also an important thing as well if you want to improve, because, you know, psychology will get you to a level where you can trade profitably, but then to really, you know, take your game to the next level, you have to have good technical analysis as well. So psychology is good just to get you to that profitable mark, that break-even mark and profitable mark, but then you need to take your technical analysis to the next level to, you know, really see the benefits and reap the rewards. So it's definitely important, technical analysis. I'm not saying it's not important, it's definitely important, but make sure you prioritize psychology as well. So yeah, I'll put more both contents out. Yeah, that is very true. Everybody does love a list. So yeah, I mean, I'll put it into like easy bites. I won't do like a 20-minute conversation on psychology. I'll try and keep it sweet and simple, and just do, you know, multiple videos based on that, so you guys can digest information, go do what you need to do, and don't spend too long, because I know a lot of people don't really like hearing about psychology, therefore it doesn't get that much views. So if I do a 20-minute video on that, it doesn't make sense. So I just do it short and sweet, and allow you guys to digest that information. Yeah, that is so true. That is so true. Psychology is definitely hard to master. That you can teach almost anyone a double top. I mean, it's not rocket science. It's just price, falling resistance, testing again, rejecting it, and then moving in the opposite direction. So it doesn't take a lot to understand, double tops, double bottoms, channels, trend lines, support and resistance, break and retest, head and shoulders, all of that. It doesn't take that long to understand how to use that. It takes a lot of skill to be able to apply it into the live markets. That, I have to admit, is a little bit difficult, because you can teach anyone double top, but then taking it into the markets and knowing when to use it, not when to use it, that's a skill within itself, and that is a little bit challenging. But for me, psychology is harder than that as well. It's harder than that. But yeah, I'll take that information on board and try and give you guys a bit more of that content as well. This is UCJ right here. I mean, again, this is the hourly time frame, so it does take its time a little bit. But yeah, hopefully we can see that momentum kick in to the downside. But like I said, if this does take me out, and as long as it stays below there, I will be looking to get back into the trade if it does move up. But we've seen already enough rejection here of that resistance and that break and retest of that trend line, and that momentum there as well. So it looks good for the shorts, and I'm expecting a push to these levels back down here. So yeah, UCJY, I don't expect to see anything magical. If we do see momentum like that, then yeah, we could kick off quite quickly. Let me check if we've got any news coming out later, because that might have an effect on whether we see any real momentum coming in or not. So 1 second. Yeah, so today we've got some US dollar news coming out in about 3 hours time, at 3 p.m. GMT. So I don't know what that is to you guys time zones, but for me that's 3 p.m. GMT. And yeah, some high impact on some new home sales. So we'll see if that has any impact. I'm not expecting too much from that, but it is high impact, it says. So we can expect to see some activity. But yeah, that maybe might give it a kick to the downside. We'll see. So yeah, looking for that move to the downside. I know though it looks a bit dead now. It looks like there's not much momentum, but that's the thing with UCJPY. When it does kick off, it does kick off. Because you can see here previously, nothing here, no momentum, and then a big break, and then the price starts pumping to the upside. So kind of waiting for that big break moment. So we'll see what happens with this one. Still looking for that downside, and if this does play off, we should be looking at a nice 3.85. So just underneath the 4R on that one. So it's looking good for downside in this one. Pound USD, I was also looking for sells as well, but yeah, pushing to the upside as well. So again, like I said, if it can form that lower high, that would be nice, but it's still respecting this support. If I just highlight this area, it's still respecting this support, and I said this support is very key, because it holds the bullish structure for pound USD. If I just show you an example here, when you have a structure like this, push, pullback, push, pullback, for this structure to turn bearish, it needs to break through that previous low, and if we respect it, it could still turn bullish and pump on. And as you can see, it's still respecting that support. It did have a nice wick to the downside, pull back up, so obviously that was a false break. and a lot of people would have sold that and got too excited on that candle, and now it's pulling back the other way. So I do have to respect that, but but just how as I said that as well, we could also pull back to this area, form a lower high, and that'll be indicating a head and shoulders, and then we can get into some sells and sell it back down. So that's what I'm looking for there for pound USD. I'm not sure I'll get in because I'm already in a USD position. If it looks good, I might stick a little bit on it. Not how much I usually risk. I'll probably just put a little bit on it if it does look good. But if that momentum does kick on, it can actually break through this area and just kick onto the upside. If that's the case, I'm staying out that position. And same thing for pound JPY. I think they're looking quite similar right now. So again, pound JPY, the exact same thing. Pound JPY, pound USD do have a lot of similarities. Have a lot of similarities again. Both pound pairs and USD and JPY are quite similar as well. So still respecting this support, very key support, intact. Like I said, if that support stays intact, we're still bullish. The only way we can turn bearish here is if we form a lower high, and if we do that, sells do look good. A little bit more risky, but sells do look good. But if you do start breaking through, creating some higher lows, higher highs, then yeah, it's probably going to come back up to these highs and probably even push through them as well. So we'll look from them. I mean, I wouldn't say the setup is over yet because the resistance is still intact there for pound JPY, pound USD. The resistance is still intact there as well. So we could still reject it and come back down, but do be aware that we could potentially still be on our way up. So we'll be looking out for that. If I go on the 15 minute still looking quite bullish. So yeah, we'll see what happens at this area, 150, 700. If you can reject that nicely, then sales will be looking good. And guys, like I said, if I get any opportunities on these pairs I'm speaking about, I will let you guys know on my Telegram channel. So if you haven't checked that out, feel free to do so. I've got a link to that in my description down below, so feel free to go check that out if you want to. I post setups there. I posted this USD-JPY trade there as well. So yeah, feel free to go check that out. And the stream is over in about 10 minutes now, so if I get any of these setups here, I doubt pound USD will give us a setup in 10 minutes. So if I do get something later on today, I'll post it in there for you guys to check out, and feel free to trade if you want to. So yeah, we'll be looking out for that. But yeah, with 10 minutes left to go, guys, if you guys look at any pairs, even if I've already looked at them, I might miss something, so feel free to drop it down in the chat again. But yeah, if you look at any pairs right now, we've got some pairs on your watch list, some pairs you want my opinion on, or you're trading, you're in a trade and you want me to take a look at it, just feel free to drop in the chat, and I'll take a look at it for you guys. But like I said, currently only in USD JPY, looking for a move back down to 108.733 and potentially a 109 100 down there. So those are the moves I'm looking for. Aud Cad as well is another pair on my watch list. I haven't actually spoke about Aud Cad to be fair. It's a little bit of a choppy pair, I have to admit, but I'm starting to see some nice clarity with it. If I go in the daily, you can see this pair has been respecting this resistance really well here, so multiple attempts at trying to break through. And as you can see here with these elongated wicks here, we're getting these lower highs in the market. So the market is giving us the impression that the buyers are failing to push higher and the sellings are coming in firm. So with that information, I do expect to see the market collapse to the downside back down to these lows here. So I can see a really nice sell coming in for Aud Cad over the next few days or so. So I'm looking at this pair quite a lot. I only like to take one trade a day, to be fair. If I've taken a trade today, that's me done for the day. I don't like to get into another position because I often find that if I do get into another position, that position is normally of lower quality because I'm normally rushing it, trying to get in because I've either just won or lost the trade. So if I take a trade today, which I've just done on USD-JPY, this one, I'm not going to look to get involved in the Aud Cad position. Hopefully Aud Cad can stall and wait for tomorrow, and then if it is tomorrow and we get that possible entry, I'll look to get in. But even if it does happen today, I'll post it on my Telegram, so if you guys want to get involved, you can get involved if you want to. But yeah, I'm looking at Aud Cad sales like I just explained to you on the daily, and I've got two areas I'm looking at, which is this resistance up there. If price can push to this area here, looking for a double top there, so 1, 2, and then we'll take that to the lows all the way down there around 0.86. Nice psychological target there as well. But at the same time as well, I'm also looking at where price is trading currently, which is that this resistance here, so support, double to bottom there, now turn resistance there. So I've got two areas I'm looking at, this 0.87600 and 0.88100, looking for sales there, take it down to that target down there. So Aud Cad is looking good, but right now the price action is not the best. You can see there's a lot of momentum to the upside there, so probably not the best time to take a trade. So we could actually break through this, and like I said, if we do break through this, none to worry. It just means the risk to reward is a lot better and take it down to those lows. If we do break through this, however, I'll probably just leave it alone because we might be pushing up a lot higher. Probably just look to reanalyze the chart after that. But yeah, we'll be looking at price action here. If we can get some strong bearish candles closing, then that might mean that we could be on for a nice move to the downside, and I will let you guys know in the Telegram. Or same thing, like I said, if we break through and see a reaction of that, I'll let you guys know. Either which way, we're looking for sales here. I'm not really bothered about buys, looking at that higher time frame analysis. So yeah, more downside for Aud Cad back down to 0.86. I think we could be on for a nice move there, but I just don't like that momentum down the 4H. It puts me off a little bit. Normally when I see momentum like that on the higher time frames, I wait for the price to give me a nice wick on the 4H, and then I scale down to the hour or the 50-minute, then get involved. So if I give you guys an example, let's see, something like that. Once you get a nice elongated wick, now look to get involved. You can see all that momentum. I don't really want to get involved in after that, especially after this as well. Look at all that momentum, then we start forming some wicks, and then I'll look to scale in after that as well. So when we get strong momentum candles like that, and as you can see how it closed as well, it didn't close with any wick to the upside. That's not a good sign. That normally means that we could push on a little bit more. So yeah, I'd wait for if you can get some nice wicks involved and now scale into it, or it just means that it might push on a little bit more into that area, then sell it down. So yeah, we'll see if we can get a nice trade on Aud Cad back down to 0.86. GPUSD, I mean, I don't if I can get the indicator, actually let me just use, it's been a while since I've used any indicators. So pound USD, yeah, there is some slight, because we're pushing down here and we kind of pushed up there. So yeah, there is some divergence there, I have to admit. Like I said, price action becomes before anything. Indicators just give us an extra confirmation. Shouldn't really base a trade solely based on indicators. Look at the price action, then if you get an indicator backing up what you're thinking, then that's great. But yeah, we're seeing some nice rejection there, as you can see, a nice pullback there. We're on the 50-minute, nice reaction. So that's a good sign there for pound USD. If we can form that lower high, that's good, and we could be getting some nice entries there. Pound JPY doing the same thing, yeah, a little bit there as well. So yeah, if we can get some nice rejection there, form that lower high, maybe even a break of that support as well, could be looking at more downside there for pound USD. But yeah, that is some divergence there, because we're pushing down there as price has kind of pushed up. It's come down there, I have to admit, but it's been pushing up, and then we had that nice sell-off. So yeah, that is looking good, and we're seeing that rejection as well there, which is the important thing we're seeing there. So that is good there for pound USD. very strong reaction there on this pair, and we could be getting that head and shoulders setup. And likewise for pound JPY as well, nice rejection there. I suppose all USD pairs are pulling back, JPY. So yeah, we'll see how that gets on, but it is looking good. Yeah, I'll be thinking about taking a sell as well. I probably won't because I'm already in pound not pound USD, JPY. But yeah, I think if this momentum does continue on, I wouldn't take it just off that though. Be a little bit patient. If we can see maybe that momentum continue, come back up, form a lower high, then yeah, I'll get on that. Or if you can break back below that support, if you break back below that support a second time, then we should be pushing lower. So then I'll probably take it off that if I was going to take the trade. So yeah, I'll probably wait for that momentum to continue, bounce from that, form a lower high, come back, take the trade, take the sell to the downside, or momentum come down, second candle close below here, then you can take a trade, stop loss above that high there. But yeah, so far we are seeing a nice reaction. So yeah, we could be seeing something there for those pairs, and Chan JPY is doing this, a similar thing as well. So yeah, and again, if I do get a trade, I'll post it on my Telegram as well for you guys to check it out as well. So make sure you're there to check it out. But guys, it is coming to the end of the stream. Well, it has come to the end of the stream. But like always, I will do a quick breakdown on some of the pairs that are on my watch list, some pairs that I'm looking at, and also how many trades I'm in. And yeah, we'll be looking to end the live stream after that. But yeah, pound USD, like we just talked about, I think we could be on for a good sell here if we do keep up that. We've rejected that resistance there nicely. So if we can get below, well, this is actually pound JPY. If we can get below that support, I think that'll be a good sell. Or if we push down from a lower high, that'll be a good sell as well. Either way, I think as long as we reject that, I think sells will be looking good. And if that does work out, then as for targets, I'll probably say targets. I would say this area here where we've got that support, resistance support. So that will be an area around 149,800, and then ultimately back down to these lows all the way there as well. So that's what I'll be looking for pound JPY. Pound USD, similar thing there as well. We've seen a nice rejection there on the 15-minute, and a nice wick down the hourly. So I think that will be looking good there for pound USD. So either gets below that support or pushes down lower high, take that to the downside. And then targets would be this one, a little bit more steep than pound JPY, but still kind of like a similar pair to this area of demand here. As you can see, nice reaction to the upside. And then if you can break through that, I'll probably say to these lows and maybe even a bit further as well. We've got this wick all the way down there. That price still hasn't taken out yet. We'll take that across so we can still hit those lows there. So yeah, pound USD, pound JPY do look good for some sells. Like I said, Aud Cad looking for some sells there. Still haven't had enough of a reaction there. Seen some wicks, so price is obviously losing some steam there, but it's still looking a little bit too bullish there on the hourly. And 4 hourly, like I said, still a little bit too bullish there. But Aud Cad will be looking for those sells to take it back down into these lows over here, and then the lows down there around 0.86. Or if we do push up, we'll be looking to take it down from those highs up there. Either way, looking for those sells. And yeah, we'll let you guys know on the chat. Eur USD for this one. Again, not too much has happened on the stream. Again, I still do have that area up there that I'd say if price can get to, that'll be great. Or if we do push into this resistance here for a nice double top, which you almost kind of hit just now. So come into there, reject that area, double top, and then you can look to sell maybe some wicks again to the upside, then sell it back down. And for targets, probably just targeting these lows down there. So Eur USD looking for sales as well. It'd be nice if we can hit that resistance there, but it might not do so. It doesn't have to. And if that's the case, we'll look for a retest of that and get into some sales. Oh yeah. That is true. We do have some news later as well. So yeah, that could either give it a kick in our direction or kick against us. We'll find out, after the news. But yeah, do be aware of that. Maybe if you don't like trading the news, maybe wait to enter after the news if there's an entry, of course. But yeah, if you can get in before, that'd be great. And then make sure you got your stop loss in. Don't enter blindly and protect your capital. But yeah, that could help in our direction. Okay, good luck with that pound trade. I'll be looking for a little bit more confirmation, and if I do, I'll let you guys know in the chat. But yeah, like I said, pound USD does look good for sales. My bias is to the downside. I'm not really bothered in buying it. It looks only good for sales. And yeah, I'm currently in USD JPY right now, which you guys know about on the stream. I'm looking for a push into this area here and a push into that area. I got in on the last candle. Nothing much has happened really, and yeah, still looking for that move to the downside. So we'll see how this trade gets on. Like always, guys, I'm streaming again this week on Wednesday and Thursday, so tomorrow and the day after, same time, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. GMT. So if you're not busy and you want to check out what we're doing here, feel free to pop in. Leave a like if you're enjoying the content. That does really mean a lot to me. It also does help the channel out as well. Subscribe if you haven't already, if you want to see more of the same content. Again, helps the channel out. But yeah, thanks guys for joining the live stream. Really do appreciate it, and I hope I see you guys tomorrow. But besides from that, have a great day, and yeah, hope I see you guys tomorrow.